Hello!
Welcome back to our channel. Maybe expecting to see like monorail resorts hopping.
And our final day and
The
all of
journey
the
home.
Yeah, all of the bits of like that what you'd expect out of a Disney vlog series.
And basically what we said was coming at the end of the last video. However, when we've come to edit it, we didn't actually film anything on the monorail resort hopping.
Nothing useful anyway.
And there's a bit of pin trading in Basin. Did you know you can pin trade in Basin at Grand Floridian? You can.
Turns out we got told by the people in the shop, didn't we?
Yeah, the cast member in the Grand Floridian shop was like, I pin traded there, and she's like, have you pin traded in Basin? And I was like, nope, didn't know that was a thing. Anyway.
Anyway.
We didn't really film anything of that. The next day, which was like our final day, we packed. Nobody needs to see that.
No.
And then we've decided that we want some more DVC points. So we did some DVC tours that we have got footage of different rooms at different resorts, but
I don't think you want to see that in a Disney Day vlog, really.
no, that is literally all we did. We did that, and then we went and picked our bags up, went to the airport, and flew home.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an abrupt end to the series, but there you go. However, we watch a lot of Disney vlogs, and one thing that kind of grinds my gears a little bit is people don't really talk about the cost of things.
Yeah.
So we are going to break down exactly how much we spent and split it all up as a trip report. We did do one of these back in 2020, which I'll leave a link to up that way. One way. But we didn't break down all of our costs fully. We just we had some vague costs. This time we made sure that we kept track of properly everything, as you'll have seen from the vlogs where we basically keep popping up how much things are. So we can do a full breakdown of how much we spent. This isn't this is how much you have to spend at Disney. Everyone does Disney in their own way, and there is no right or wrong way to do Disney. This is just to try and help people who maybe haven't been to Disney World, haven't been post-pandemic, and who just want an idea of some costings. So it's not a brag, it's not a this is how much you have to spend, it's just a trying to be helpful.
So we're going to go over the individual parts of our holiday. We're going to break it down into sort of areas, cost areas. Ooh, getting a bit businessy and BAE, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to break it down into areas, and then we'll put chapter marks down below so you can just get through to see individual parts. So, what is the first part?
The first part, looking over to our carefully scribbled notes, is Manchester Airport. We are slap bang in between Manchester and Liverpool Airport, but Liverpool Airport doesn't fly transatlantic.
It's technically international, but it's not international enough.
Yeah. So Manchester Airport is our closest airport that we can fly from to America. So we flew from Manchester Airport and we flew from Terminal 2.
So this was our second flight through Terminal 2, and we had the same amount of problems that we had during the first time. Second one.
Will hand on heart say I hate Terminal 2.
I think hate is a strong word. It
No.
just feels like it's very badly designed for sort of ease of use.
It's been rebuilt by somebody who had no concept of visitor experience and process flows for getting people through it. And I know that's me putting my work head on there, but it totally has.
Yeah.
It is atrocious.
So they've rebuilt all of the common areas and the restaurants and the security entrance and the check-in areas. That's all nice. The check-in area and security is okay. Once you get through security, it doesn't really make much sense, because it feels like all the amenities are in a building separate, and then the gates are either off this amenities building, or you have to go back on yourself through the security hall to get to the other gates. Doesn't feel like it's very well designed. So if you're in what is it? Gate
201.
20 something.
201 to 207, I want to say.
You've got to account for 2 or 3 minutes to go back through the security hall, walking right to the opposite end, and then down towards the gates, which isn't great.
And the thing that annoys me the absolute most is they literally, you check in and they say, this is what time they want to start boarding, this is your gate.
Yeah.
But if you come out of security, they will not let you turn left to go to where the gate is. Oh no, you have to walk all the way through duty free and all the way around the planet to get back to where you were. And if you try and duck under that rope, you're gonna get shouted at. Like, just let people. If you don't want to go to duty free, just let people go to their gate.
Anyway, we don't want to turn this into a rant of Terminal 2.
But it has done, because I hate it.
So it's not the greatest experience. We were flying with Virgin. They had at the very end of the 20 gates, I can't remember which one it was.
I think it was 207.
Yeah, they had a little separated off security area where they can just double check you and then do your triple or quadruple S check if need be. And it was okay. There was plenty of seating. That's what I could say. There was a load of seating. Where usually, in certain gates of the airport, you would struggle to sit.
Was there plenty of seating though? Because our plane was half full.
Yeah, that's what I was just. You could probably freeze frame the moment where I went.
Are you Ralph Wiggum?
Yeah. Get the VHS and rewind it a little bit. Yeah, the flight was half full, so.
Maybe there's not plenty of seats.
Maybe there wasn't plenty of seats, but it was okay, and it was nice that the staff there were great, helping us through the sort of checking the tickets and going through it. It was all relatively smooth and plain sailing after security.
Yeah, so we parked our car at the Terminal 2 West. There's a Terminal 2 East and a Terminal 2 West, multi-storey. They are both within about £5 price of each other, and honestly there's not really a great deal of difference.
I feel like there's a difference. I feel like West is closer, but I know that's just in my own head.
So West, you go straight into the terminal, and East, you cross up one road.
Yeah.
And it's a service road, not like a proper road. The only thing I would say about the East is that it has got the drop-off and pick-up points for taxis, so sometimes trying to just get past them is a bit sort of...
Could end in a bit of a fight.
Yeah, and also just sort of cutting across lanes. But the colour things that they have up telling you which floor has got lots of spaces are accurate.
Dot on.
So we had no problems. We literally went, right, floor 5 has got hundreds of spaces straight there and no problems.
The one thing I did want to say about the car park as well is people get confused between West and East, as it seems, and try to go in to the wrong car park. Now, we didn't experience this time, but the last time when we were travelling with Air France, it was first thing in the morning. We had a nightmare trying to get there in the first place, which was another story altogether.
You can see that vlog up there.
Yeah. And then we get to the car park, and there's someone who was convinced that they were in that car park, but they weren't. And there was only 2 gates open, and there was 2 people trying to get in. They wanted to reverse out, and they had to reverse out onto a main road. So my tip would be, make sure you're not rushing to the car park, because you can spend 10-15 minutes just trying to get in.
Yeah, definitely. The car park, I'm going to keep popping up the cost of things down here.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll use that gap up there. Yeah, maybe there. Basically, it'll pop up on the screen. But we spent £76.60 for the car parking. That included 2 £5 fast track tickets. So the car parking was actually £66.60. And then the £10.
That feels a bit more expensive than Terminal 1.
It's kind of comparable, to be honest.
Okay. That's the thing, I don't usually book the car parking, so...
they're all much of a muchness. The thing is, from where we live, a taxi one direction is £50.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense to just take our own car. So yeah, so £76.60 total, but £10 of that is the fast track security, which was not worth it.
No.
We did mention it in the actual vlog, but
So the problem that they had was that they've got a set of gates to check you in. You know, where you just scan your ticket to go through to security. But they were also checking for anyone who's got fast track security. The problem is that they had 9 gates for just general admission into the security area, which is fine, and only 1 checking for the fast pass tickets.
Fast track.
Fast.
I might have just been. I only picked up on that because I was like, I've just been calling it fast pass because I've got Disney on the brain.
Yeah, Disney on the brain. So, 1 person checking for the fast track tickets, which was also shared with the disability access and also the staff as well. So when we arrived, there was about 30-40 people waiting, and unfortunately 1 person trying to handle that at the same time, and it
was chaos.
It was absolutely chaos. They had multiple gates for accessibility and also the staff as well, but they just didn't have the staff to do it. So it's nothing on the staff themselves, it's just that the staffing levels wasn't there, and that was really Manchester Airport's fault. Then once we actually got through the fast track security gate to check us, we went through. They had a separate conveyor again for accessibility people, which is fine, and then they just dumped us into the regular queue at the front, but still it was the overcrowded regular security as well. Which
I get that that's the norm, but they didn't have somebody controlling, sort of saying, right, I'll take 5 people from fast track to go to that security desk, I'll take you to go to that. There was nobody really organising it, and
there was 1 person who was managing the main security queue and directing people to the different checks or whatever they call them, but only sort of like every 5 to 10 minutes would he walk down and say, oh, a couple of 3 or 4 people off the front of the fast track queue, yeah, you go to there and there, and then walk back down again. So it felt like we spent an awful long time just waiting to be allocated over.
Yeah, so we worked it out. It was probably about 40 minutes in total. Now, the only other time we've been through Terminal 2, we were an hour and a half at security. So obviously that's basically cutting our time in half for £5 each. So in that respect it sounds like it was worth it, but I think, I don't know, just when you're actually there and you can just see people who you know went through the queue 20 minutes before you and they're almost at the same point you are, it's like, was it worth it?
I think this is where we have different opinions on this, because I just don't think it's worth it at all. I know you're saying it is an hour and 20 minutes, but it didn't feel like that when you're in the normal queue, whereas it really felt long, because you know, you were in a queue where essentially every 10-15 minutes 3 people were moving on, and it's like, well, I was paying extra for this, so it feels worse when actually the time is less.
Yeah, I think it's one that we may do it again. We may not. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Again, it's only a £5. I know, well, on the website as well, they advertise it from £4. So I think in off-peak times it's actually cheaper.
Yeah, maybe. The only other thing really to mention about Manchester Airport is we went for breakfast, and checking my notes, it was called the Bridgewater.
Yeah.
I thought it was really nice, and considering it was at an airport, it was really reasonably priced.
And not only that, very quick as well.
Yeah, very quick.
Now I know that they had on the menu that basically they can serve within 5 to 10 minutes any item on the menu, but it is an airport cafe restaurant type thing, so you always expect a bit of a delay. But no, they were quick, reasonably priced. The food was good.
I mean, admittedly, I got 2 rounds of toast and a cup of tea, so it's kind of hard to mess that up and have it take too long.
Oh, I don't know. We've had some messed up toast in our time.
Did I have a toaster?
What did I have?
You had a bacon bap and a latte.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, and so in total that came to £14.65. So all in all, our spends at Manchester Airport, excluding the meal deal that we got at Boots, because I don't know how much it was, but in total our Manchester Airport spends came to £101.25. So moving on then to the flight, which, as Andy's already said, we flew with Virgin Atlantic. Now I have replied to a couple of people in comments on our travel day video who asked about how much it cost. We spent points.
Yeah. So I have a Virgin Atlantic, can't remember the exact name of it, but it's a credit card plus. So essentially for every £1 I spend, I get 1.5 miles, or points as they're now called anyway with Virgin. So over sort of the past 2 years, over the coronavirus, I've been collecting a load of points, and I've been able to use those points to then book the flight.
So all of our monthly spending goes on the credit card. Every single month, anything we do, so literally down to going to the corner shop for like a pint of milk, it goes on the credit card.
It makes for some fun credit card bills at the end of the month where you look at it and go, oh yeah, I put all the money aside, so it's fine.
So that's basically how we do it, is every month we spend on the credit card so that we get the points, and then we basically, whenever we spend anything, we move that money to one side in the current account and then pay off the credit card.
And with that, we've been able to take advantage as well with the credit card. If you spend over a certain amount, I can't remember much.
I think you said to me it was 10,000.
No, I don't think it's that much. I think it's like 6 or something like that.
Anyway,
something around that. If you spend £6,000 or £10,000 a year, you get what's called a companion ticket. Now that can be used for upgrading the class of your flight, or taking a companion with you. So the way we did these flights was I spent the points on my booking and then use a companion ticket
for me.
Joe. And all we had to do was pay for taxes.
So for Andy's ticket, each way was 12,500 points, which is a total of 25,000 points.
And that's also for an off-peak flight as well. So flying June and peak holiday times would be more.
You also seem to get more offerings if you're flying from one of the London airports, but by the time we add on going down to London, it is not worth it for us. So as I was companion, I literally was basically free other than the taxes. So for both of us, for taxes was £255 per person, and that is all sort of airport taxes and government taxes and flying surcharge levies and all that kind of stuff. Basically, that was the total cost of our flight. It feels like basically Ryanair prices for flying to America.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of spending behind that to get those points.
There was. The other thing I would say as well is the planes on Virgin Atlantic from Manchester, they are tired. They are in need of refurbishment. Which
they are doing. Well, they were doing just before 2020 happened.
Yeah.
So it is going to happen, but these planes, they are not great.
No. The actual entertainment system, it didn't have a great deal of choice on it. There was about 120 films, I think, and
most of them were older titles, weren't they?
Yeah, there was no like brand new blockbusters like you get on like some of the other planes.
And there was a distinct lack of Disney content as well.
Yeah, which was a bit odd. Also, just the general effort it took to press. I basically was having a fight with it because it just was not accept. And then it'd randomly, I wouldn't be touching it, and it'd go, well, hey, I'm going to just go round and show you in a big loop and things. It was hard work.
Yeah, the in-flight entertainment system is very old. I mean, when it has ports for interfacing with your iPod or optional camcorder so you can review your footage on the flight. Really need to update those seats, Virgin.
You could have plugged in a PS1, couldn't you, into the entertainment
system? Little component.
It had all the things that you could plug a PS1
All you're missing
in.
was a power plug, wasn't it?
Yeah, they worked great. And also, sort of, around the seats, you could see the foam of the seats, like, just sticking out randomly from different seats and things. But they were comfy.
Yeah.
The staff were absolutely
fantastic.
Lovely. Just amazing. And the food was okay. It needed some salt and pepper on it.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest tasting.
Yeah, so I think we said in the video that the food was pretty plain and didn't really have much taste to it. And then I read an article the other day saying that actually your taste buds don't work as good when you're at altitude, so they up the salt and pepper in food. And it's like, well, they didn't in ours.
I've never seen pepper.
So I had a pasta concoction, and it was chicken and very plain pasta. It was supposed to have some sort of sauce, but it had no taste to it.
I had a Thai vegetable curry that it was alright.
Yeah.
We also got an ice lolly, which came around at the best time because I was literally boiling.
That is the highlight of the flight for you, wasn't it? That ice lolly.
It was, because I was literally sat there just going, I'm so hot and I need a drink. And then she literally
Here's a drink and an ice lolly.
And was like, do you want a drink and an ice lolly? And I was like, yes I do. We also got afternoon tea, which was a scone. Don't be coming up with the whole it's scone. It ain't, because if it was fastest cake in the world, scone, clearly doesn't work. Fastest cake in the world, scone. It works. Anyway.
See what I have to put in on a daily basis.
We got a scone with jam and clotted cream.
Yep.
And a sandwich that you didn't get a choice of sandwich.
Unfortunately.
And it had mustard mayo on, which I'm not. No.
But you were prepared for the eventuality by buying your plain Jane ham sandwich before we got on the flight. So you were okay, and I had a second one.
Yeah, and you had the second sandwich, so it worked out fine.
Yeah. We weren't hungry on that flight.
No, and to be fair, when we got to America, the only thing afterwards that we ate was some popcorn. In Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Until breakfast the next morning. So clearly we weren't going hungry on that flight.
Yeah. Yeah, with the breakfast at Manchester Airport and then the food that we got on the flight, it was more than enough.
Yeah.
I mean, taste. It's airplane food. What can you expect?
It was edible aeroplane food, which I think
filling. Which is the more important thing. It was filling, and he didn't feel hungry.
We also did get a couple of little bottles of wine on the plane, which helped us sleep.
Helped with the snoozing.
So
probably explains why we were able to go so late on the first day, because we had quite a long snooze on the plane thanks to some wine.
You did. I had little cat naps. But sleep's overrated. Right, so from then getting to Manchester and onto Virgin Atlantic, MCO.
Yeah.
So Orlando Airport was the smoothest we have ever had it. Now, admittedly, we only have one reference point, but
yeah, we've seen on many people's vlogs and travel days of what MCO can be. Now, in our first experience in 2020, we flew Icelander and landed pretty late, so the immigration queue, links above, the immigration queue was actually quite short, and we knew that was an exception.
Yeah, we were the only flight that landed at that point.
Pretty much.
This time, we landed at the same time as an Etihad, was it Etihad or Emirates?
I think it was an Emirates A380.
But either way, it was an A380 and it was full.
It was heaving.
So we got off the flight, our flight, and saw the Emirates or Etihad one and just kind of went, oh, we're going to have a big queue. And then we got into the hall and it was empty.
There was 4 people in front of us.
And we weren't rushing off the plane. We weren't sat in a sort of like, gotta get our stuff and get off.
No.
We took our time, and yeah, there were 4 people.
I mean, we got off the plane very quick.
We did.
But like you said, not
through rushing.
Yeah, we weren't. The second the planes actually stopped up and getting our bags out or anything like that. We just got off when it was our turn, essentially. It probably helped that we were quite forward in the plane, really, didn't it?
Maybe, but I don't know, like, because then even behind us, we could see all these people coming off this UAE flight, and it never actually got to be a queue, even though there was an A380's worth of people plus our plane.
And it's not even like they had a lot of agents on at the border, because there must have been about 5 or 6, from what I could see anyway. There was about 5 or 6 open, and then the one at the very end for US citizens and trusted traveller programs, I think is the correct term.
So yeah, it was just super quick. Our luggage came off super quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't say super quick, but it came off okay.
My point of reference is Manchester Airport.
Yeah,
so I mean, you can be 2 hours and still be considered quick compared to Manchester.
Especially recently.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then
considering I rant about Manchester quite a lot, we do actually like flying from there, but no.
Yeah.
And then once we were through immigration and everything, we basically decided to go and get a lift.
Yep.
So we always use Lyft for getting from the airport to Disney and from Disney to the airport.
We find it easier, only really because it's just the two of us, and I can understand people with like a family of 4, a family of 6, a group sort of thing. It could be using Maze and other services is probably a lot better choice. For us, it's not worth it. We have, it's just us two and 2 cases and that's it. So a Lyft XL is more than what we need. Gives us plenty of room, and also it's really quick and straight to the resort.
I don't think we even spent 10 minutes waiting. I think you were ordering the lift as I was changing the battery in the camera, and in the time it took me to change the battery and film saying that we got the lift from B32, the lift was there.
Yeah.
So super quick.
So at Orlando Airport, they actually have 4 lift pickup areas, and they're sort of each corner of the terminal buildings. So it's B1, B32, A1, A32.
It's not just Lyft, it's Uber as well, but our personal preference is
Yeah, you can also get an Uber from there as well. So
we checked the app to see how much we spent, and yes, I am reading it from a bit of paper, but from the airport to Saratoga Springs cost $59.20.
And that's for an XL
An XL. And then from Saratoga to the airport cost $43.32, again
also
for an XL.
XL.
The app says that we've done 27 rides in total with Lyft, and I have to say we have never had a problem.
Yeah, I think using Lyft, we had a great experience on our first ever Lyft that we took, and since then we just decided to use it. So
yeah, Justin, who took us to Kennedy Space Centre
in 2020, it was fantastic, and then we just stuck with the app ever since. And yeah, you get drivers who don't really speak to you or anything, but they're all nice and will answer your questions and be quite polite.
The thing that I like about Lyft is that they will sometimes just contact like on the app and ask you to say how safe the person is driving.
Yeah.
And if that person constantly gets people saying that they're not a very safe driver, then Lyft will drop them.
Yeah.
Which I personally like, because every time we go onto the freeway I have Morpheus in my head saying don't go on the freeway.
Unfortunately, you've got to go on the I-4. Even if it is only for one junction, you've still got to touch the I-4 from the airport.
And I bet that the I-4 is why Morpheus goes, don't go on the freeway.
Yeah, I can explain it after being on it now.
Yeah. So moving on then to
Saratoga Springs.
We had...
Don't know what the jazz hands are about that.
Saratoga. Are they Saratoga fingers instead of spirit fingers?
Yeah, we're getting off topic again.
Shocker. So we had a 1-bedroom preferred at Congress Park.
Yep.
So this was a DVC room, and it cost us, looking again at my notes, 208 points for 1 week.
Yep.
You did all of the booking.
Yeah, so it was 208 points for a 1-bedroom preferred, and then from there I specified that we want to be in Congress Park. At the time, it was a thing of, I knew that the newly renovated rooms were in Congress Park as sort of a guarantee, so when I was doing the check-in, I requested Congress Park, but preferred also could be the Springs as well, which is the blocks next to the sort of the central hub of Saratoga Springs, which has also been redone, but I only found that after the fact.
Yeah, I really liked where we were staying.
Yeah.
The fact of how easy it was to get to Springs was really good. I do think because of the fact of us being a bit further away from the resort hub, I feel like we didn't necessarily use all of the amenities, so there was no point in us getting like a resort mug, because
you have to walk so far just to go and get a refill.
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it for us. But I would quite happily stay there again, which
absolutely.
I'm surprised at, because going into it, in DVC groups, Saratoga is often referred to as the resort of last resort, because it's always got availability.
Because it is the biggest.
But it's also, people don't really like it. A lot of people.
It had a reputation for being tired and needed a refurb and didn't have the best restaurants and was a bit of an odd place as well to have a resort, but they've really made some changes with the refurb. The rooms are fantastic. the restaurants could, the quick service could do with something a bit more. I think it's a very basic menu compared to the other quick services that they have at resorts.
It's a bit weird because the actual quick service bit, like you say, the menu was very basic. The food was okay.
Yeah.
It just wasn't anything to like write home about.
Yeah.
But then the like food shop bit of Saratoga, it seems so much bigger than say at Broadwalk or some of the other DVC properties. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a bit weird. Saratoga does have the spa, which unfortunately was closed whilst we were there.
Much to your disappointment.
I do love a spa. I'll leave linked up there the spa on the Disney cruise, and you can see how I love a spa so much I don't listen to the prices of the add-ons.
I mean, it's probably good that she didn't go.
Don't worry, this time.
Yeah. Now you know that the Grand Floridian Spa is open.
September. But yeah, so there's a spa and a golf course at Saratoga, which I think is why it feels a bit weird, because you don't really feel like you're in a Disney bubble the same, I don't think.
No.
It just felt like it's just really relaxed and chilled, and yeah, I'd quite happily stay there again. The pool near Congress Park was awesome. We only went in it once.
Yeah.
But yeah, no problems at all with Saratoga Springs. So the only downside that I and many others seem to have with Saratoga. So I know that there are people who do Disney vlogs who say it's a hack to get on a bus from any of the parks and go to Saratoga Springs to get off at Congress Park, and then you can walk through to Disney Springs, and you can do it without having to like go back to your resort and things.
Yeah.
The problem is people also do it and get free parking because it's free parking at Disney Springs. So the buses now are pretty full when you're leaving any park at any time of the day, with people who just want to get off at Congress Park to go to Disney Springs.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a pain, because we were sort of seeing the traffic going out to the parks first thing in the morning, which would generally fill a quarter of a bus or something like that, and then coming back the bus would always be full.
Yeah.
Every single time. You'd step off the bus at Congress Park and we'd make a beeline to the right towards our building, and everyone else just heads off left towards Springs. And it's like, this is going to end up being a problem, and one day they're going to start checking these.
Yeah, so because just as is my way, I talk to everyone.
Being a gobby northerner is what you want to say.
Yeah, basically I'm a gobby northerner. But I will talk to everyone. If the proportion of people that we spoke to who said that they were putting complaints into their rep is anything to go by, then it is a very small amount of time before they start checking Magibands to see if you are actually staying at Saratoga, because literally there were 20 or so different people who were all saying about it.
I think it was one of those. I don't think the people really cared too much that they were getting the bus. It's just that they got the bus and they didn't know where they were going. So at every single stop, there was people up and down checking with the bus driver. Where do I need to get off? Which stop is this? Where am I going?
And ultimately as well, so as part of being a DVC owner, maybe we'll do a video on DVC, but you pay annual dues, and Disney Transport is part of your annual dues.
Yeah.
So we own at Riviera, so the maintenance cost of the Skyline we pay towards every year.
A part of.
Part of. But Saratoga, if you owned at Saratoga, you're paying towards a Disney bus.
Yep.
If they end up having to put more buses on because there's more people constantly using them, then that has a direct monetary impact on the people who own at Saratoga.
Yeah.
So I can see why they'd be annoyed at people saying, just go to Congress Park, it's such a hack. Like, just go to your own resort and then get the bus. Drop your stuff off.
And thank you for coming to Joe's TED Talk.
I mean, what haven't we covered on this TED Talk? Manchester Airport Terminal 2 is rubbish. Morpheus says don't use the highway.
Yeah.
The freeway even.
On a more serious point of that though, it does mean getting the buses from the parks. Sometimes you might not get on because they're just full of people who are not not actually going to the resort, which is not what you want.
No, and don't get me wrong, on our last trip we got a bus from Magic Kingdom to Riviera and then got on the Skyline. Now, we wouldn't have done that if we didn't need to go to Riviera to investigate Magi Bands from 2020, which is an entire thing. But
we need to do a story on that.
yeah, that's a one for another time. But we didn't mention it in the vlog, but that is why we ended up going that way, and it seemed like a ridiculous way to go. But
that was a ridiculous trip in its own, though.
yeah, it was. But yeah, so just something to consider, that I think it's going to be a very short time before they start going, right, we're going to Magi Band check everyone.
It's one of those that people have been doing it for years, but it seems like the amount of angry owners on that bus, I could see that changing soon.
And let's face it, Bob Chapek isn't exactly shy about making it that he gets more money.
Yeah.
Anyway.
On to our next chapter, which is...
Ta-da! Food.
Food, yeah. The main expense of this holiday.
Yes. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say that food prices have gone up globally.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Disney are not immune to that price rise as well. So they are passing that on to people going to Disney. Food is more expensive than the last time we went, and there's no dining plan, so it is something that you need to seriously think about budgeting. I know there are some exceptions that some people have got dining cards and things.
Yeah, for people who had it booked previously, they've been given dining credit, but I think that's an exception, really, because of the state of when they were booking. And I know that the lack of a dining plan now is a killer for a lot of families trying to travel to Walt Disney World. It's unaffordable, essentially. And with the prices of the food and everything that we totaled up, I can see how it can become a bit of a problem.
Yeah, so we predominantly, this trip, ate at quick service.
Yeah.
In 2020, we predominantly ate at sit-down restaurants, and on our next trip in May will be a split of sit-down and quick service. We're also lucky enough that we have the full kitchen, by it being the one bedroom DVC. Our next stay is in a studio, so we won't have a full kitchen, but we will still have the ability to make food if we needed to.
A microwave.
And microwave. We pretty much, I think, actually always ordered on the app and then did mobile order pickup. Yeah,
but it's just I know it was a lot of people want to go up to the till and order their food, and so a few people have been, I wouldn't say moaning, but disagreeing with the thing of everything should be mobile order. But even in 2020, we made use of it a lot, and it's just so convenient because you get to pick, you get to hand the phone between you or around the group that you're in, get everyone to pick what they want, you click order, and then once you're at the restaurant, you can just click I'm there and it'll be ready for you in 10 minutes or so.
Yep.
It's just so convenient.
It is. So looking down at, I'll move it a bit closer so I can see.
Yeah.
So I have added up how much we spent on quick service, and for 1 week
brace yourself,
we spent $379.01. Thanks sales tax for making that not a nice round number. That was for 3 people.
Yeah.
There were some exceptions to that where it'd be like maybe Andy and Davey would eat or whatever.
Yeah.
But
or you wanting your Mickey waffles when I went out for a walk to the shop to get coffee.
Yeah, things like that. But it basically works out for a week at £126 and 37p per person.
Yeah. Which isn't crazy amount of money, but it feels like a lot for the amount of actual quick service we had. I think there wasn't a lot of meals that we had.
Yeah, so it's just something to keep in mind. Like, I think the best value and my favourite quick service that we had was the beef that I had at, I think it was called like Batunian beef or something from Docking Bay 7 in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy that meal.
Oh, you had the spicy chicken, didn't you?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the spicy chicken. It was spicy chicken, rice and roasted vegetables, but it wasn't roasted vegetables. They just give me boiled broccoli. If it had the roasted vegetables, I probably would have really liked it. But it's just very, very tough broccoli.
Yeah.
For me, it was fry nook and the bratwurst hot dog and cheese sauce, which was really fantastic. And took a while on the quick service to actually order. We had to wait for a slot, but then it was ready in like 5 minutes. But we had to wait like 15-20 minutes for the slot or something like that.
Which wasn't too bad, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if we actually thought ahead while we were walking around the park and ordered it, you wouldn't have noticed. But instead,
it was only as we walked past and we smelt it and went, should we get food?
should we get food? There, yeah. Check on it out. Oh, 20 minutes. All right, okay. we'll sit here.
Yeah. We did also do 2 sit-downs.
Mm-hmm.
So we did Wine Bar George in Disney Springs with our friends Jodie and Laura. Hi.
Hello.
Because I know you watch all our videos. Hi. And we also did, just me and you, did Topolino's.
Yeah, Topolino's for breakfast.
Which is a character breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So our total for those 2 sit-downs is $370 and 16 cents technically, isn't it?
Yeah.
However, huge caveat on both of those. Wine Bar George was was for 4 of us, and included possibly 2 bottles of wine. Definitely one,
Definitely
maybe
one,
2.
maybe 2.
Gets a bit fuzzy after the first, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
And Topolino's, we also got alcohol. I got some Bailey's coffee martini thing.
Yeah, and I got a whiskey sour, which was a horrible mistake.
Oh yeah, both of those drinks were exceedingly strong.
They had no business being that strong for breakfast. They really didn't. I mean, no, we did have the 3 components of a true holiday breakfast: fruit juice, coffee, and alcohol. But
yeah,
I won't be doing that again.
But both of those drinks in Topolino's were about $20 each.
Yeah,
so
we should probably have skipped them.
I mean, with how I felt afterwards, we definitely should. But you know that when we go to try and get Topolino's again, we'll still get the alcohol, won't we?
Yeah, we'll forget about
idiots.
all of this conversation and then just go, "Ooh, shall we have that again?"
Yeah.
I mean, it probably didn't help that our server in Topolino's was funny, and he was used to be
a Jungle Cruise skipper. Yes. So he said
he had
something.
the patter. He really did.
Yeah, he said something like really like punny, and I fell about laughing. Love a pun. And then he was like, because Andy just went, oh, and he was like, sorry, you're gonna get a lot more of it. Used to be a skipper of Jungle Cruise, so.
Yeah. I blame him for upselling us to alcohol and extra sides, which just didn't need. But
he was very good at his job.
He's good at his job. He earned that tip.
Which is another thing to consider as well, that the quick service doesn't include any tips or anything, whereas the sit-downs include tips.
Include a tip.
And all of the prices for food so far include the sales tax.
Yep.
But they don't take into account where we get any DVC discount. So at Topolino's, we get a DVC discount of 20%.
Is it 20% or is it 10%?
I think it's
one of them.
We get a percentage.
We get some sort of percentage discount.
The other thing for food as well that we did, we ordered a grocery shop from Publix using Instacart. Got it the right way around this time?
Yeah. Publix by Instacart. The app is it?
We ordered some bottled water, some cans of like Diet Pepsi for keeping in the fridge.
Yeah, Diet Pepsi, Pepsi Max, a ridiculous amount of Pop-Tarts for breakfast.
And
that was a mistake.
And cereal.
And cereal,
we had, because it was on buy one get one free, we had 2 boxes of Lucky Charms and things. So I guess a caveat to the food spending at Publix is that a huge amount of that came home in the suitcase. I've literally a month later just finished off having Lucky Charms for breakfast because of how much we brought back. So whilst it's included in this, I think it's wrong to say, oh, we spent all of this and only got the breakfast in whilst we were in Walt Disney World, because we've not had to buy stuff for breakfast in the UK for a month. So
anyway,
Anyway,
Get to the figure.
That came to $71.49,
Yep.
which brings the grand total of money spent on food for 1 week to $820.66.
Like I said, you can see why the dining plan has such a massive impact on family holidays, because it gets pricey.
So the next one is the controversial one, Genie Plus.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to spend too much on this, because I think we need a separate video explaining this, because you went along and worked out the best route for using Genie Plus.
Okay, so a spoiler for an upcoming video then. Probably, if you're watching this on the day it comes out on the Sunday the 13th. A week today, I think we'll do the Genie Plus video.
Okay.
But a spoiler, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Now, like Andy said, I kind of spent a lot of time after the first day of using it perfecting little things. So we'll include all the things that I found useful that helped. But
I think it very quickly came down to that people tried to use Genie Plus like the old FastPass system, and you can't. It's something different, and if you use it the right way, you can really have fun. You can ride a lot of rides, and you can do a lot of things during the day if you're willing to accept that. No, you're not going to get the headliner rides exactly when you want them, but if you're willing to wait and do other rides, then you can get what you want.
So we did Genie Plus for 3 days for 3 people. We also paid for some individual lightning lanes. So we paid for Rise of the Resistance for 3 people, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for 3 people, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train for 3 people. And then once Davey had left us to carry on his holiday, that was his non-Disney bits of holiday, we did Mickey and Minnie's Railway again and Rise of the Resistance again.
Yeah.
But we didn't have Genie Plus for that day, we just did those 2.
Yeah, those individual lightning lanes.
So in total on Genie Plus we spent $114.98. That is inclusive of all of the sales taxes, because when it says that it's like, oh, this lightning lane is $6, it's excluding sales tax, so then you just put that on. We don't get any discount by being DVC or annual pass holders.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would. But if you're in the UK and you have like a 7 or a 14-day ticket, there are offers that you can add Genie Plus on to the length of your ticket, so you'd have it every single day. And I think it's at a reduced rate, so that it comes in at, I want to say like $6.99.
Yeah, it is a lot cheaper, but it's paying for essentially the full length of the tickets. So if you're only going there for 10 days and you got a 14-day ticket, it's 14 days you're paying for.
Yeah, so something to look at. As I say, we'll do a full video on it, but in the interest of including it in the cost, we spent $114.98.
And short to say, the first day was difficult with it, but then after that, we were good, and we thought it was worth the money.
Yeah.
But more in a later video.
Because I know that a lot of people are very, very much against it.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, I would prefer it to be free, because everyone's favourite price is free.
Yeah.
But
everyone prefers the old FastPass system. It's nothing. I know.
I prefer free, but
having to book 90 days out.
Yeah.
Your fast passes.
Anyway,
we're gonna.
That is something that we can talk about a lot.
Yeah, we could probably do another half an hour just on that alone.
So we will next Sunday. That is basically everything that we spent money on.
Yeah.
Before I reveal the grand total, I will just say it doesn't include park tickets because we are annual pass holders.
Yeah.
It doesn't include the cost of any COVID tests that we had to do before flying out to America, and also we missed the change in the rules by 48 hours, so coming back into the UK we also have to pay for a testing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't include anything that we spent on merch.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we didn't actually spend that much on merch this year.
Andy's forgotten how many pins Joe bought. Some of the things that we spent were we paid for in pounds, some were in dollars. So to convert it so that we have just a pound figure and a dollar figure, we've basically taken the exchange rate on the 4th of February, because that kind of felt like it was slap bang in the middle of our holiday, to work out what the grand total spends were. So in pounds, our total spend was £1,377 and 82 pence. And in dollars, it was $1,865 and 91 cents. So as we said at the start, there is no right or wrong way to do Disney. You do what is right for you. We are comfortable spending that amount. You might not be. Equally, there's going to be people who spend 6 times that who are quite comfortable spending 6 times that. We just wanted to do a video that basically shows how much we spent for each element so that it can help people who want to budget and know how much to take with them when it's a completely different park experience to what it was 2 years ago.
It's almost like a little quick price guide of what you saw in the vlogs, essentially.
Basically, yeah. And a general report of the trip, which can be summed up as: I had an awesome time.
I had a great time.
And it was not long enough going for a week.
No, it was not. But
It's a good job we're going there, really.
yeah, we've got other bookings in.
You can go check out the video up there. I'll leave it linked, that tells you what our trip plans are. One thing that it doesn't include...
I was about to say, it doesn't include everything because we've made a change since then.
Well, yeah, but we'll do another video on our change. But the other thing it doesn't include is in like 15 days, I think it is now.
Yeah.
We are going to Disneyland Paris. There's an annual pass party for the 30th anniversary and we will be there. So if you want to see some Disneyland Paris vlogs, hit the subscribe button down below. And if you don't, well, we're back at Walt Disney World in May, so
Hit the subscribe button for that as well.
Yeah, thank you for watching our vlogs.
Yep, it's been fun going through the videos and seeing the results. We're not great YouTubers, as it turns out.
I've never claimed to be a great YouTuber. YouTube is not my full-time job, it's my hobby. I will continue posting videos even if nobody watches them.
Is that a threat?
Oh no, it's a promise.
It feels like
It's
a threat.
promise. I will.
I'll keep posting. I'll keep posting.
Yeah, but I will, literally. Even if there's only myself watching them in 10 years' time, remembering when we went to Walt Disney World, I'm still going to make and post them, so... But if you have watched them and enjoyed them, thank you very much for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching.
I guess that's it for this video.
Yep, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you dislike it, give it a thumbs down. Even though it'll still help us.
It does. Yeah. Literally, the algorithm doesn't care if it's up or down, it just goes, they had an opinion. So, thanks for having an opinion.
If you want to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to hopefully get notified if something happens.
Again, who knows if that
Who
works.
knows? And in short, do the YouTube stuff.
Do the YouTube stuff.
And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.